Bootlegs. They're a big moral grey area in the musical theatre community, but we love them anyway. I can only speak for myself and the theatre people I have around me, but I have a massive folder that's just dedicated to bootlegs that I find. And every now and then I will of course sit down and watch one. But no matter how much we love them, there is massive problems legally with the bootlegging community. Whether it's selling them for high prices or fans and cast members arguing about them, it's fair to say that there is a true duality to bootlegs. However, this topic has been covered on YouTube before. The whole idea of why bootlegs exist and how they can benefit a show. That's not what I'm talking about today. Today I want to focus on a singular group who, with all of their shows, have managed to avoid bootlegs through very simple means, and whether this group actually hold the solution to stopping bootlegs altogether.
Harry's Log, Tuesday before we open the show on Wednesday. Those are our props, and that is the cast and the kids learning a new song 2 days before we open. It's awesome.
University of Michigan, April 2009. After Nick Lang read The Goblet of Fire and discussed the possibility of Draco Malfoy having a crush on Hermione Granger, they created a concept for a song which would slowly form into a small musical they would perform at their campus entitled Harry Potter the Musical. After the overwhelming popularity of the first few shows, they performed one extra show for friends and family and recorded it. This version was more lax and free, filled with improv and extra jokes, as it was the final time they would perform this musical. However, this was just the beginning of this Harry Potter musical. They uploaded the entire show to their YouTube channel, but was soon taken down and re-edited with a new title, A Very Potter Musical. Safe to say, this video blew up. Since then, Team Starkid have produced 11 other shows. They started to steer away from parody musicals and have produced original shows in the past few years, each of them having a short run in either Chicago or Los Angeles. But every single one of these shows is filmed and released as a digital download and published on YouTube. Now, to say these shows drive a lot of traffic, it would be an understatement. At the point of uploading this video, the channel has
280,847,915 views.
But if anything, I think the story that comes out of Starkid is that making accessible theatre can work. Because let's be real, no matter how much I love the Starkid shows, they're not exactly high art.
Hi, I'm Bruce Mann. I'm Batwayne. Fuck!
What Starkid do is they produce fun, campy, silly musicals that are enjoyable to watch. But right now you might be wondering, how does Starkid hold the solution to
bootlegs?
Because it might not be what you think. I'm not about to say that every musical needs to record a highly produced version of their show, because that's impractical with all the copyright laws and the ways that you'd have to pay all the actors, which, we tend to do a lot more here in the UK. America, you need to step up your game a little bit. But I think Starkid hold the solution to bootlegs for a couple of reasons. An argument that is heard quite a lot against bootlegs is that they can drive a show out of business, but I don't exactly think that's true. Because everyone who watches a bootleg, or is a massive fan of watching bootlegs, know that bootlegs are not a replacement for live theatre. They are simply what you go to when you have no other way to enjoy live theatre. And I think Starkid is a good example of this. They make it clear that every single one of their shows will eventually go on YouTube for free. If you wait for long enough, you will not have to pay a penny to watch a Starkid show. And yet they sell out every single time and raise tons of money to fund their projects. Granted, they only have short runs and in small studio theatre spaces, so I think a different test would be to see how quickly they sell out. So let's take their latest show, Black Friday, as an example. How long do you think Black Friday took to sell out? 6 hours. It took them 6 hours to sell their complete run from October to December. So of course you can see there's clear demand to see these shows live. And it's not just people from the Los Angeles area, it's people from around the world. So clearly the fact that these shows are released for free, just like bootlegs, is not a demeaning factor against them. But then again, let's look at a clear difference between Broadway and Starkid. Theatre is not cheap. Theatre is not cheap to produce, and theatre is not cheap to go and see. Now, different countries and different productions have different pricing ranges. And if you went to see a show in Los Angeles, or even a show in London, that's a lot cheaper than going to see a show on Broadway. Large prices is what stops a lot of fans from being able to go out and see these shows. Now, this doesn't make them cheap, or it doesn't mean that they don't want to pay, because a lot of theatre kids want more than anything to go and see Broadway shows. Now, this is where another layer of the bootlegging community comes in. A layer I'm not going to talk about too much because it is a lot more of a grey area than just the classic putting a musical up online, and that is the selling community. With technology becoming more and more readily available and better and easier to just slip in a pocket, a lot of theatres are having to put up extra precautions just to make sure that less bootlegs are released in the world. They can now watch the bootleg, work out whenabouts it was filmed using certain events that might have played on stage, like a certain understudy or just a little thing that an actor did. And they can work out the rough seating area and they can ban someone from going to see shows. This has led to a lot of people marking their bootlegs NFT, or not for trade, and they will keep them behind a paywall. Now, I can't say I love this. I do think it's a little bit more shady, but that's not what this video is about. I'm going to leave that there. That is very grey area. Bye-bye. Hey, look, it's right on screen right now. That area of the bootlegging community, get out of here. I'm not discussing you right now. Yeah, fuck off. Mainly I'm leaving it to one side because it's a matter I don't have an answer to. But the point to take from this is that people are willing to pay for bootlegs. Yet again, Starkid have a solution for this. Number one, as well as releasing it for free on YouTube, they also release it as a DVD and a digital download. They freely give you this option to buy it and support the artists. They don't guilt you into buying the DVD or digital download, but they have it as a nice little option in case you want to support the artists a little bit further. And of course, a lot of theatre kids are willing to support the artists. Look how well cast recordings sell, and how many listens something like Six or Beetlejuice or Heathers has on an app like Spotify or Apple Music. But there is one more thing that Starkid do, which I only noticed them do on their recent show, Black Friday. And I think this is really clever and could be the thing that might save Broadway from the current climate of the world.
Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I'm here to tell you that Universal have come up with the idea of a whole series now called The Show Must Go On, which is about musicals going from stage to screen, and they're going to show one of mine every Friday.
In lockdown, a lot of theatrical companies have been releasing their content online for free. However, this content tends to have a time limit. The National Theatre in London have been putting up a play a week for free. Other companies have chosen to put them up for a month. If we take a look at what's on stage list of shows to watch through lockdown, you can see just how many things there are to watch. And this is only the shows that were available at the time of recording this. With this amount of shows being pumped out, it's clear that there's a demand for this kind of thing. And actually, all you need to do to see there's a demand for this is go to the Beetlejuice Instagram page, look at the comments and see how many people are just calling for a Beetlejuice recording to come out. But Starkid knew this. They knew this before. And they used it. And another thing is they realised that this demand came from all around the world. Starkid started to do digital tickets. And this, my friends, is what I think could save theatre. These tickets were around $15, I think. I think it's quite a fair price. And you get a link for 42 hours. And you can watch it however many times you want during that 42 hours. But I think the question we need to ask now is what happens if bigger theatres start doing what Starkid did? Now, I don't think these recordings have to be pro shot quality. I think all they need to be is something cheap, something quite static. Find a decent place in the theatre to place your camera. I think a good idea would be maybe front of dress circle. maybe attach a camera to there. I don't know how technology works. What are you, my dad? See, I don't know about you, but I actually prefer watching bootlegs to professionally recorded things because I hate the weird zooms that they have in, and it takes away so much from the actual experience of just sitting down and watching as much of the stage as possible. So you don't need anything fancy. All you need is one camera angle for a cheap price. Now, what stops a lot of big Broadway shows being filmed is the fact that there's a lot of copyright issue, and you've got to remember who designed the set and who's on stage and who's doing this, and there's so many different people to pay for it that it can be a little bit too hectic to record a pro shot. So maybe this is more of a goal for West End theatre. Maybe it's easier to get the copyright out here. I don't know. It's something I don't know. Please, if you do know copyright law, please let me know. I'm asking, I'm begging you. First person to do it properly gets pinned comment. I don't know. I think that's fair. Now, there's another problem that I think I can address, and it's the fact of what if people bootleg the bootlegs? What if people watch this digital ticket once, record it, and then they can just watch that? They never have the need to buy another digital ticket. Well, I think an important comparison would be Netflix. If you try and take a screenshot on Netflix, you can't. Now, this technology is fairly reliable and it works. So maybe theatres could use this kind of technology too. I don't know, I'm spitballing here. But if theatres do incorporate this, I think the main thing that I really hope they remember is that this should be to make theatre more accessible. Because I don't think this should be too expensive. That's why I'm suggesting maybe make it slightly less professional, just a single place of recording. Pre-record a couple of shows, record one show a week and show that each week. And if you're thinking this is a completely insane goal, this could never happen, well, it already is. We are now relying on this technology to keep theatre alive in these harsh times. And I really hope that we don't forget how technology has helped us when we eventually get out of this. Will bigger theatres take this leaf out of Starkid's book? I don't know. I mean, everything is so uncertain at the moment. I just hope that eventually we can open up theatre and be a bit more like Starkid.